lied and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother, made lurid and false claims about the royal family.
For decades, the world has been captivated by the life and legacy of Princess Diana. Her compassion, grace, and undeniable connection with the public made her the people's princess. But behind the glamorous image was a mother who adored her children more than anything. Now, after years of secrecy, a long-lost letter from Diana to her eldest son, Prince William, has finally come to light.
The embassy and the phone calls, 2 phone calls came early on and told me that there had been an accident.
What did she want him to know? Join us as we uncover the shocking contents of Princess Diana's lost letter to Prince William and the secrets it reveals. The first letters from Princess Diana were quietly put in the catalogue of a London auction house in July 2004. They were very private and gave us a rare, uncensored look into her private life. That one letter about her oldest son, Prince William, stood out right away because it showed how much she loved him. There was personal communication between Diana and Violet Collison at the auction. Collison had seen Diana grow from a shy young girl to the world's most famous woman. The emotional ups and downs of Diana's life were shown in these honest and private letters. They talked about her battles with royal expectations, the chaos of planning a wedding that millions of people would see, and most of all, the highs and lows of being a mother. A very sweet letter from July 8, 1981, just a few weeks before her wedding to Prince Charles, painted a picture of a young bride-to-be who was rushing around making last-minute plans. People loved Diana so much because she spoke in a fun, playful way that hinted at how warm and approachable she was. But as the years went by, her letters became more serious and showed more intense feelings, like anger, worry, and an unwavering love for her 2 boys. There was something different about these scribbled messages. They weren't meant to be used by the public. Although it was hard to keep these feelings inside the palace walls, they were quiet, private, and close. They showed how much she wanted her kids to grow up being kind and caring. This was wonderfully shown in a very touching letter from June 21, 1989. It was written on official Kensington Palace stationery and sent to Sergeant George Plum of the Special Escort Group to thank him for setting up a motorbike show for Prince William's 7th birthday. People who followed Diana's life saw these letters as more than just sentimental keepsakes. They brought up old arguments about her complicated relationship with the royal family and her unwavering desire to raise her sons differently. Diana chose to be different because she wanted William and Harry to have a childhood that felt real and was full of things that normal kids did. She went out of her way to show them the world outside the palace gates by taking them to theme parks, fast food places, and even public transit. She wanted her sons, William and Harry, to have life experiences outside of the court walls because she was a loving mother. She thought that even though they were royal, they should know what it was like to be a normal kid. Diana made sure they didn't grow up in a bubble of luxury by taking them on trips where they could meet people from all walks of life. At the same time, she was very protective of them because she knew how much pressure the media put on them all the time. She worked with palace staff to set up official photo sessions so that people could see important events in her children's lives, like their first day of school or family vacations. In exchange, she asked for privacy so that her children wouldn't have to deal with the constant attention that came with being a royal. There was a fine line between letting the press in just enough to satisfy the public's interest and protecting her kids' right to a normal childhood. In his book, Diana, Her True Story, Andrew Morton wrote about how much she fought with the media's attention. The letters she wrote to William showed how much she loved him and how hard she worked to prepare him for life, while also keeping him safe from its worst parts. When these letters were found again at an auction in 2004, William was no longer a boy, but a young man in college, continuing the lessons his mother had taught him. The letters gave us more information about his personality and showed how Diana had shaped him. Diana left behind more than letters and pictures as a mother. It was the choices she made every day that kept her alive. Some of those decisions were brave or quiet steps against royal customs. At the heart of it all was a simple truth. William and Harry were just 2 young boys with an amazing mother before they became famous all over the world. Diana's way of parenting changed things right away, and in a big way. When Princess Diana gave birth to Prince William on June 21, 1982, she was only 20 years old. It was her first child. She became a mother right away and in a big way. She broke royal rules by breastfeeding William and picking his name herself. She also fought against the idea that royal nannies should do most of the parenting. Diana continued to go against the norm as William grew up by enrolling him in a nursery school close to Kensington Palace. This was a quiet change in the way royal parents raised their children. Diana, Queen of England, was a woman who had a big effect on the lives of her children. She wanted to give them a normal life outside the palace walls, letting them have daily moments and experiences that they would remember. Diana took her sons to see McDonald's, the London Underground, and theme parks. She made sure they were around people who didn't bow or talk to them in a polite way. These trips were carefully planned lessons that taught them to care about others. Diana also got her boys involved in her charity work. For example, she took them to see Centrepoint, a London charity that helps young people who are homeless. William learned from this event how responsible he had to be because he was so lucky. Diana changed the way royal parents raised their children through her love, defiance of old customs, and unwavering dedication to them. Diana, William, and Harry had an unbreakable bond. This was clear when Diana's marriage to Prince Charles was falling apart in the early 1990s. Diana found peace in her boys, William and Harry, even though her life was full of chaos. She carefully chose schools for their boys that put privacy and mental health first, making decisions that would affect them for years to come. Diana worked closely with the school staff to make sure that William and Harry could feel like things were normal in the classroom. When Charles and Diana finally split up in 1992, it became hard to be parents together while being watched all the time by the public. Diana stayed very involved in her boys' daily lives, though. She went to school events, cheered them on at sports days, and wrote thank you notes to staff by hand. A lot of these handwritten notes have been sold at auctions since then, serving as physical reminders of a mother who never let her royal tasks get in the way of her role as a parent. Diana told the public in 1995 that she wanted to raise her boys with kindness, love, and strength, putting an emphasis on emotional intelligence over following royal rules. Diana put people ahead of custom in this rare and powerful moment. Diana lost the title of Her Royal Highness when she got divorced in 1996. This was just a formality that hurt her a lot. She told William about this, and he told her, "Don't worry, Mommy. I'll give it back to you one day when I'm king." Diana and her boys love and respect each other very much, and this story shows that. The first wife of Prince Charles, Princess Diana, turned her attention back to the things that were most important to her: helping poor people, spreading information about HIV, and ending the use of landmines. She no longer spoke for the Queen, she spoke for her own beliefs. Diana wrote heartfelt letters to friends, staff, and fans all the time. One thing that was always the same: her boys. She wrote about how nice William was, how energetic Harry was, and how she hoped their lives would go from here. She was afraid of the stress they would be under, and hoped they would grow up honest and strong. It wasn't about royal duty or custom for her to be a parent. It was about being there, listening, and loving in a real, unwavering way. She read them books, wrote them letters, and always told them the truth, even when it was hard. Diana started a new part of her life at this time, one that was shaped more by her own ideas than by royal rules. She stopped giving money to more than 100 groups, so she could focus on just a few that really mattered to her. Staff at the school and close friends said she was an active, loving mother who was always easy to reach. But during this time in her life, she also felt more and more alone. Diana wrote in letters and notes that she was worried about her safety. She went to Angola with the International Red Cross in January 1997 to fight against landmines. As she aged, some of the most powerful and lasting photos of her were taken as she walked through a minefield that had just been cleared. Diana spent her last few months focusing on getting William and Harry ready for the future. She wanted them to know that being a leader wasn't about having power, but about helping other people. Close friends and advisors have talked about how she taught William a sense of duty that came from caring. It's too bad that future never came true. Diana's life was cut short in a terrible car accident in Paris on August 31, 1997. What do you think about the shocking revelation from Princess Diana's letter to her son, Prince William? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.